Bella Medspa in Chester Springs with one of our clients, Lisa, who has graciously allowed us to sit down with her and our aesthetic nurse, Beth Ann Mallon, to review with you the effects of the treatments that she received with us recently, and specifically the dermal fillers and Botox.
I'm here with Lisa today, and we're going to talk about Botox fillers as well as a good skincare regime to start off with. Lisa came in with concerns. She is edging on the number 49 birthday, and her concerns were just a tired appearance. So we discussed many different treatment options, in-home therapy as well as in-office visits. We discussed a good skincare regime, Microderms, intense pulse light, as well as 3 weeks ago we did Botox and fillers on her. The areas we did the Botox, we did the glabella region, which is right between the eyes, so if you can frown for me, which she cannot no longer do. Raise your brows real high. We softened the frontalis muscle as well, and big smile. And we did the crow's feet. Really important to follow up in 2 to 3 weeks post-treatment just to see if there's areas that we would need to go over and touch up. So on Lisa, a couple areas that I would like to treat for her are her forehead. So raise them up real high. Relax. So it's just a couple little areas where she doesn't need much, just to touch it up. And it's really important to come back in for your follow-up so we can review pictures to see where we started. Patients are able to see the results that they were able to achieve with the Botox and the fillers. We did fillers on her. We did the tear troughs just to soften out the hollowing out she had underneath her eyes, which she had a nice result with. The nasolabial folds, region in here, and just to volumize the pre-gel sulcus. The follow-up, Botox will be every 4 months. Fillers, like the Restylane and the Juvederm, will hold her over anywhere from 6 to 9 months.
So what do people say now that your bruises have gone? Are people, you said that they could even see it through the bruising. They could see, wow, there's a difference. I can see they liked it. What are they seeing now when they look at you?
Well, from my neighbor Kathy, from a distance, she notices it. She noticed it right away up here. Everything up in here just seemed to be more awake and, lifted. I see it here. I'm happy with, and in here as well. I'm just so happy with the fact that I don't have this droopiness on either side of my face. It looked like I'm miserable and frowning, even though I feel fine.
Right.
This is wonderful.
So you feel
so much better.
You feel lifted almost. It seems like you. No, is that wrong?
I don't feel lifted.
Here. No.
Nothing feels unnatural. Nothing feels different as far as a physical sensation or anything like that is concerned. It's just it looks different, and I don't really, I walk around and I forget that I've even had this done a lot of times, and then I look in the mirror and I say, oh look, I look so much better.
Yeah, I think the Botox definitely gave you a little bit of a lift on the brow. I think we did the both areas. It lifted the brows up, because as soon as you walked in, that was the first thing I noticed. So good.
So what else, when you were talking about Microderm, when you look at Lisa, what would the Microderm,
that went off.
No, it's still going. What would the Microderm do?
What it would do for, I think what it would do is just to prepare the skin for any additional treatments, as well as skincare products that she's going to use. So by taking off that top layer of the stratum corneum, which is the dead cells that sit on the surface of the skin, our light energy or our bleaching agents, which would be the hydroquinone, are able to penetrate deeper to get a better end result. So I think it's combination therapy, which is key.
And the IPL, intense pulse light, would be good for? The
intense pulse light would be good for tightening the pores, as well as for the brown spots she has, browns and reds. It'll treat. It's a series of treatments. Minimum for Lisa, probably I'd say minimum of 5 treatments, which we would separate every 2 weeks apart. We would start her on an in-office skincare regime, in which I'd like to see her on for about maybe 3 to 4 weeks before we started the intense pulse light treatments.
For her, would you suggest Obagi or something else?
Anything that has a skin lightener. So Retin-A is an option. I'd really like to find out what patients are using at home to begin with, because if if they're not on anything, if I give them a slew of products, they're not going to be compliant with a lot of ingredients. So, or a lot of different products. So, I'd like to talk to her more and find out what she's using already. But Obagi would be excellent if she was going to be compliant with the STEP program.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What kind of downtime is there from IPL?
From the IPL?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that it depends. You can be pretty aggressive. I think what you would notice was a lot of the browns that you have on the cheeks and the temple region, you'll see them getting darker. About 4 to 5 days, the ones that are really superficial will flake off. The other ones will just go back down and lay dormant. So each treatment, you're going to up the energy of the optical light energies to achieve the results. But there's minimum downtime with it. I'd say nothing compared to
stay out of the sun after or anything like that.
You'd have to make sure you're wearing sunblock. But obviously, a lot of the damage that you would have right now is secondary to sun exposure. Mm-hmm. More so from when you were in your 20s. Mm-hmm. So the goal would be afterwards, good sunblock, making sure that you're not laying out in the sun, if you do like what your skin looks like, using a bronzer or a self-tanner.
Okay. Is there, as far as when you get the injectables, is there any type of contraindication when you're starting the skin routine, the skincare routine, and also with the Microderm and the IPL? Does that have to wait? Does that have to wait after a certain amount of time after you do Botox or the filler?
Ideally, you'd want to do. Great question. You'd want to do the Microderm or IPL prior to a treatment. You can do it on the same day, but you want to do it prior to your treatment of your fillers, Botox, just because of migration issues. So always you want to do you would do Microderm, IPL, and then you would do your Botox filler.
And last thing you do is the
Yes.
Botox filler. Okay.